And then, like the rappers would come in town, the BMFs. Now, BMF, when they want to do the Miami version, oh, they gotta come see me because I got all that. I got all that.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Black Label Exchange. Man, today we got a dope episode with our host and our guest, J Lash. One of hip-hop's top dope photographer. Been in the game for forever. He's here, he's gonna join us today. He's gonna be kicking it with us, man, with his amazing stories. He's gonna be talking about, how he started and how he became the most infamous J Lash. First of all, I wanna say what's up. Thank you, J Lash. Welcome, J Lash, to the podcast. All right. You're actually our second guest, man, to come to the Black Label Exchange. Okay. Welcome to Little Haiti, man. I know you come through here, when you're doing your thing. I'm glad you came by, you stopped by, you're hanging out with us, And like I said, man, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
We appreciate you taking that time out, come sitting down with us.
For sure. But before we get started with you, man, I just want to just kind of bring in my co-host. This is his first time coming in, joining the crew. So, he's going to be on this journey with me, moving forward. So he's excited about sitting down with you as well, getting his interview, So Tito, I appreciate you too.
For sure.
Okay, DB.
Definitely.
All right, welcome back home.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get started. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So Jay, man, just kind of want to talk to you, kind of want to dig into, your past. Can you kind of like let us know, how you became a photographer, or even more so, bring it back to the golden years of you coming up, like where you from, and what inspired you to become a photographer, and what type of trials and tribulations you faced as a kid. Coming to your manhood as an adult, So, talk to us, man.
A packed up question there.
I know I threw a lot at you, But let's start off, man. So where you from, my brother?
I'm from beautiful South Central LA, Watts, California, raised in Inglewood. Inglewood up to no good is basically one of those beautiful lines that we hear when we think of rap. When we think of Inglewood, you think of Mac 10 jumping off the roof of City Hall. I was at that spot and he put Inglewood on the map. Big shout out to Mac 10. So basically, yes, I grew up in South Central LA. Went to Inglewood High, graduated for Cerritos, went to beautiful Southwest College, and then went to Long Beach State, pledged Phi Beta Sigma as a fraternity. I would take pictures of ball players and things around the community and college and, enter contests, in the college campus and win awards and things of that nature. Then I would hang out, like, for example, on Soul Train. I was a dancer. I would take pictures of all the dancers on set. And that got me my first job in Hollywood working for, MCA. Just did Freddie Jackson tour. Did all the Soul Train stuff, all the behind the scenes stuff, all the award shows. And, it was like crazy. So jumping right on into it. So when I speak of Soul Train, being that I said Soul Train, you have to come up with a picture of you by the Soul Train sign, you know what I'm saying?
So you don't mind me asking, what year was that?
That had to be around 83, 82. Good question. Because, I graduated from high school around 79, so it had to be in the early 80s. So I figure around 82, being nice, because I don't think I was immediately out of high school up there. So I figured it had to be closer to when I was in the club set. So I figured around 82, 83.
And it's crazy. So what led you to actually get on to the set of Soul Train? Was like, because I know back then Soul Train was like a big platform. Came to music videos.
And I've heard people say that they had to stand in them lines for, sometimes they never got picked to go in. I don't remember any of that. I immediately just walked on the set. I don't know if I snuck on the set or if I went in with somebody or if they immediately just selected me because I just looked so smooth. I used to come all dressed up with the cool suits on and stuff. So I just don't ever remember having any problem. I made it on the riser. Like if you Google, For example, Vivica Fox, she talks about her Soul Train experience, and I happen to be the person dancing with her. So it's easy to find out of my past, because Google, they Google me. I mean, they call you up, hey, you need this and all that kind of stuff. So I found that on Google, you could search for me. You'll see like Tupac's last performance, which happened to be my birthday party at the House of Blues.
Oh, wow. Big
If you
Tupac fan, by the way.
if you Google, the Soul Train episode, it'll talk about Vivica Fox. You'll find it on, easy search on. So it's easy to find me. I'm not hard to find. I've never been high.
Right.
No, that's interesting. So going back to the Soul Train. So once you got up to the Soul Train platform, did you stick with that platform? Did you become like associated with that? Were you doing work for Soul Train?
Yes. Again, Soul Train gave me my first job to Dick Griffey. He gave me an opportunity. Matter of fact, it was Soul Train gave me so many opportunities. I shot like Berry Gordy's daughter's wedding. I got introduced to Motown through Soul Train. I met New Edition through Soul Train. I met so many artists through Soul Train, as well as so many dancers that went on to dance on other platforms. To dancers that became singers like Jody Watley, they originally were dancers and they became singers and went on and did great things. Louis Carr, he went to the same high school, which is Inglewood with me. He's now doing like great things in Hollywood. He has a regular series on that black show. I'm sorry, I forgot the name.
Which network is it on? Do you know the network?
Um,
It's currently on?
no, I don't even remember that, but that'll come back to me too.
Let me ask you this question. Through this process, being a young photographer, especially at that time, was there anybody that you would say was like maybe a mentor to you or somebody that helped guide you through certain things in the industry?
Man, in my days, you had to get with a photographer, pay him to let you get with him. But pay him meaning that you had to bring donuts, you had to pick up the lights, you had to do the sets, breaking down all the equipment, and he would show you little lighting tricks. Not that he was,
pretty much.
not that he wanted to. He just made you be his assistant, and you watched him and you figured it out. Like for example, when you're doing the podcast, I would be the guy doing the lights, or I would make sure the boom would be right. Whatever had to be done, I was basically the gopher. Go for this and go for that. That's basically how I got on.
So it's pretty much like Daniel's song, wax on, wax off. You waxing cars, but you're actually learning how to block and attack.
You learn in the game, right? So,
Okay.
and basically I'm a people person, so my people ties is my way to get around and affect people's lives. So,
Right.
I basically snuck in everything. I even just recently, matter of fact, this was probably the first year that I actually went and did things the correct way by utilizing a media source and then going into, like, for example, a Jazz in the Garden.
Right.
And what is this, the 18th year of Jazz in the Garden, I believe? 18 or 19 years of Jazz in the Garden. I personally snuck in 18 of them. This was like the first year that I actually got a credential.
Okay.
The most of the time I would, backdoor Little Joe on them.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like if you care to share that secret sauce, because in order to get these photos, you got to be there. So was it a special technique you used to get in these, or was it just a bold spirit?
Yeah, like how were you getting in without getting caught? Pretty much.
Well, basically, the key to anything, of course, is confidence. You have to look like you're supposed to be there.
Right.
And then once you walk by one person, then you don't look back. Beautiful story. I have a picture of, I'm going to send you this picture. It's a picture of Snoop with Luke.
Okay.
And Luke shared this picture on his platform, so it's easy to find. And Snoop shared this picture on his platform, so it's easy to find. And both of them told their stories. One, Luke told his to the Breakfast Club, and Snoop told his on the thing. And I listened to both their stories, and I laughed because that wasn't the story.
The story. And let me ask, just for context, what year was this?
This is the Super Bowl, I believe, where the 49ers played Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. No. This is way back. Again, I should have had the picture all ready to go, so that would have been a cuter move. But anyway.
That's how you know it's unscripted. We gotta go with the flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, like, cause I have so many pictures of Luke.
So we talking this situation with Luke and Snoop. This happened in the '90s, though, right? In the '90s.
It was in the '90s, and it was at the Super Bowl. So to make a long story short. Well, let's not make the long story short. Let's just tell the story.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm in the parking lot at the Super Bowl, which was in Miami.
Right.
Everybody's in the parking lot. So I happen to see Suge. So I know Suge. He's a childhood friend of mine. So I see Suge. I say, yo, what's up, Suge? She says, okay. So Suge has Boys II Men, Dog Pound, and Snoop. Mm-hmm. Now, also in the entourage was like Mary J. Blige and Yo-Yo was in that crew too. So it was a big group. Now I had already spotted Ken Griffey and Hammer. So I'm snapping pictures in the parking lot, and so we rolled up. So they said, man, well, let's go on in. So Hammer and Ken Griffey, they start moving in. So Suge says, come on. So the whole entourage starts moving. So I have one camera in this hand. I have another camera in this hand. So I'm taking pictures. So when they start walking toward the gate, the gate people are like, wow, look at all the celebrities. Here's Ken Griffey and here's Hammer. So they're in awe. And then they look behind, they see Suge, they see Snoop, they see Boys II Men. So I just start taking pictures of everybody. And while I'm taking pictures, they're looking for tickets, but I'm taking pictures and just keep it moving. But they don't see a ticket, but it's not registering them because I'm moving with the crowd and it's so many people and everybody's telling the person in the back has everything, which they do. Let's get the celebrities in first and then they'll give you everything. Well, by that time, I'm already in the flow and I just keep it moving. So when you hear the sir, I'm gone.
No looking back, none of that.
So I move around, I'm gone. So I get away from that whole entourage.
Right.
But it takes them a while to get through that whole situation. So I go sit down in the seats and I look up and next thing you know, I see myself on the jumbo screen because it said I'm sitting in the dude who's like the president of the O something or another. But anyway, I'm sitting in somebody's seat that I'm not supposed to be sitting in, and I see myself on the big Tron.
Right.
So I jump off and make a quick dash. So when I make that dash, I run back into the entourage because we're in the press level by then. So I run back into the Suge and them. So they're in the skybox area. So then I see Ron May, which at that time was Luke's manager. So Ron is my boy because I used to give him tickets to Tyson fights. So we had our relationship. So I see him, he's like, yo, come with me. But he doesn't see that I have the whole entourage following me. So I walk into Luke's suite. Luke is in there with his dad. So Ryan walks me in, I'm in there with his dad. Then the door, he's thinking the door was gonna close. The door doesn't close. Suge walks in. Snoop walks behind him. Luke is like, oh, what we got going on here? Right. Boys II Men come in, Corrupt, Dog Pound, Daz comes in, you know, the whole party's in there. We done filled up the whole suite. Right. So Snoop's looking at Luke like, cuz, and Luke is looking like, oh, he's got a big smile on his face. I jump right in and say, yo, let's get this picture, jump in. Suge looks at Snoop, go on, get it. So Suge looks at Snoop and says, go on and get the picture. So Snoop just looks at Luke. Luke looks at Snoop. I start flashing. I say the war is over with.
Right, and I was gonna say, you know, especially for the younger viewers that may not realize how significant
I'm the one who stopped the war. Right. I put that on the cover of the Source magazine, and they tell the story a whole different way. They were at they had got to the pinnacle where were talking back and forth, but it hadn't been. Right. So by me taking that picture, because most hypes are based upon media, not the individuals. Correct. The individuals and then cooled it off. The entourage might not know that it's been cooled off and they start some other stuff, but normally the media makes everything big. Because when we think about the other biggest things in hip hop, Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
Those are
definitely.
those are the two biggest things of hip hop,
Right.
which is my 50 years of hip hop.
Right.
The West Coast, where I'm from, the East Coast, where I moved to get here. I moved from New York here, because when I worked from Don King, I went from LA to New York. There's so many stories.
That's amazing. And like I was saying, for like younger audience, people that's watching the podcast, they may not know how that beef back then in '92. Don't realize how powerful that is just to have them in the same room and being able to squash it that way.
And most of the time, all squashes can get settled with communication.
Definitely, sure, definitely.
Most relationships get broke up because of lack of communication.
Right.
So let me ask you, speaking about communication, it's funny how you touched on that you worked with Don King. Like, how did that transpire? How did that come about?
Sneaking in places. I never had I'm probably the best who did it who got away with it. I've never been the best who did it. I'm probably been the best who got away with it.
Well, I tell you what I can relate to that. We both can. We had a group, the Bandits. So things like that, we call it banditism, and because that's how you have to move sometimes to get things done.
No permission.
So I definitely can understand that type of move, because people not just gonna give you nothing. You gotta find ways to make it happen.
And it's no excuses. It's just results.
Right. When you were younger, did you when was the first thought of being a photographer? Did you have that in your mind at an early age? Or?
Nah, the early age, again, just trying to go from being the church person to a survival person.
Figuring out yourself and just...
because my mom, she was like a manager at Sears, so I had all the cute clothes. So they really never saw me the same outfits twice. Like I was killing them on drip. Oh, I was killing them. So it was so cold that I would wear an outfit to school and sell the outfit because they never saw me in the same outfit twice. So the moms didn't know that, but it was like I was just on some other stuff. Like I had kids in the neighborhood that they would be acting like they was broke. I got an allowance, but basically my allowance means I had to go clean the pool. We had this little waterfall in the front with the kois and stuff. And I had to clean that because the little green algae got in it. So I hired my neighbors to do all that stuff. And I was at the age where they didn't have automatic scorekeeping at the bowling alley. Someone had to write the score.
Right.
So it was 3 games, 7 people on a team. Each person pays you 50 cents per game to keep the score. You know what I'm saying? You got 7 people to do the math.
Right.
And if they get a 111 in the 7th, they gave you an extra 50 cents. So you're praying for the 111s in the 7th. Oh, and then, and if you, tell them a little something like, yo, you're not following through, what? Don't forget to follow through. They throw you a little extra cent, or they might get you an extra Coke or something like that. So that was my hustle. So I'm keeping score, getting the money at the bowling alley. My boys is looking crazy, but they all had the stuff.
Right.
One's dad had the lawnmower and got him doing the lawn.
Right.
Other one got the clippers and his dad got him doing the lawn. I went to all the parents. I said, hey, I'm starting a business. I need y'all's tools and your children will be working with me. Yeah, but basically, I said working with me to the parents, but they were working for me to the children. So basically, I had them cutting the lawns, doing the chores. This is at 12.
Yeah, so
and I tell that to my son. I said, son, at 12, I had the whole neighborhood working for me. Where was you? What you doing?
Right.
So I had, and to this day, 2 of them still have lawn services.
Wow.
Like in LA, oh man, I've got people who have lawn services, barbers, photographers, and especially when I left LA, so many photographers were happy that I left because now they had an opportunity. Now they have an opportunity to get more jobs.
Right.
Where I had basically the whole city on wrap, so they started a photographer union because they couldn't. That's the reason why they all started working for Getty.
So
They jumped the photographer union, and then from the photographer union, they started working for Getty because they was getting money from Getty. And I was like, 30%? I can't see myself doing all that work and giving you all the pictures, and I'm only getting 30%. You're getting 70%.
Yeah, they got it the opposite way.
And when we look at this kind of stuff, this is what Getty wants.
Right.
They want our culture. And I was trying to explain that to them. Man, I said, if you guys settle for this, oh man, you just da-da-da-da. So they went and started a union. So I, just like when I got here, there was no photographers in the clubs. I went to Rolex, I had backdrops. There was nobody doing that. I did that out here. I was the one. Wow. After that, then all the other people started doing the backdrops. And, you know, the move they did out here on me was, they had a company, I'm not gonna give them no credit, but they had a bunch of guys who came together and they went and got college kids. They're still an existing company. They went and got college kids and made them interns. They came into a club called Amnesia and gave away pictures to the whole club for free. They came in like 12 photographers, shot the whole club and gave everybody in the club free pictures. I was making about 300 every Sunday at Amnesia. I still made my same 300 and they gave away everybody free pictures. But they came in every weekend and was doing that. The people would still say, man, we see what they're doing to you. I still went home my same 300 every week. Sometimes I went home with a little bit more because of the fact that the people were giving them so many free pictures. They said, and everybody kept saying, we see what they're doing, we're not gonna let them get you. So I still had so much support. And then, you know, like the rappers would come in town, the BMFs. Now BMF, when they want to do the Miami version, oh, they got to come see me because I got all that. I got all that. You know, as a matter of fact, all the movies, they hit me, like for example, when they did the Straight Outta Compton. But the money they wanted to give me for the pictures wasn't the money that I wanted. Like when we talk about the hip hop origin of just Miami, for example, you got to start off talking about Uncle Luke. You got to start off talking about the Luke. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Luke.
How was Luke in that picture? He's very young.
Well, we just think about this is the 90s. We'll just stay in the 90s. This is the 90s. We'll stay in the 90s. I got to Miami in 94. So, you know, the first party I came to in Miami, of course, was an Uncle Luke party. Now, here's the picture of here's a picture of this, where I go to a club, Ron May calls me, I just got into the city, dropped off Don at his house. I jumped in one of the cars. Normally I jump in a Bentley or one of the Benzes, and something that's gonna make everybody go, ooh. You know, I shoot to South Beach. He tells I park right out front, go in the club. I go in the club, I'm thinking this is Zaza and Gomorrah, like in the Bible, because it's nothing but naked women in a cage. It's a cage that goes from the bottom floor all the way up to the wall. Now there's people on the top floor and there's people on the bottom floor. Now this club I'm speaking of, the last club that it was that you will remember, it was called Cristal.
Oh, yeah.
But at that time, it was called Luke's.
Right.
So they have 300 strippers in the cage naked. And guys are just throwing all, from the top floor to the money is just, it's just money going everywhere. And I'm from California. I had never seen anything like this before. Oh, yeah. This is before Ice Cube had made Players Club, when the strippers were still, it was still taboo, except in the South. Miami and Atlanta, strippers was something, but in LA, if you was a stripper, you was nasty. Until Ice Cube made Players Club, then it became acceptable for women to be strippers. And the whole culture changed. But until then, oh man, but. So then I went from that party to then Luke had his favorite Uncle Luke birthday party. Oh my gosh. So like, it was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Luke was a wild boy back
you know,
then.
and then after that, you know, Luke took me on tour. We went to Daytona Beach. We went to Atlanta. And then, of course, I met Jermaine Dupri and the Freaknik thing. And then, of course, you know, when I saw Jermaine in L.A. and Usher. And this is Usher, yeah. So I'm just taking you through journeys.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you know, after meeting Luke turned me on to everybody, all the artists from the South. But I was already from LA and knew everybody from the West. And then with Don King, he dropped me off in places like Atlanta, San Antonio, Texas, Houston. And we were doing fights there. So while we're doing fights there, I'm in the clubs at night. So I'm meeting all the rappers. And then on my off days, you know, and prior to me meeting Don King, I worked for a company called California Sports, which gave me action to Sports Illustrated. So that's how I was meeting the Magic Johnsons, and I was shooting the Jordans and the dunk contests, and you know, I'm going all over the places, and you know, that was how I was getting on the floor and getting to the Heat games and all that stuff through my connections with the media. So, and then, you know, working for Tyson, now getting the job for Tyson, I used to have a blue Mazda. I would pack up my Mazda with all the supplies. This is during the, you know, when you were printing stuff yourself. So I would drive from LA to Vegas, all the way on the other side of downtown, north side of Vegas, Fremont Hotel, get me a room, $20, $30, put all my stuff and supplies, make the bathroom a dark room. Print black and white, stuff like that. But then I take all my stuff, roll back to the strip, goes to the Caesars, catch all the players, you know, parking their fine cars. I flash them by their cars. Oh, I'll catch you later, player. He go into the casino. I shoot down to my boys. They was at the MGM or whatever hotel, or whatever plug I had at one of the hotels that was where the photographers were taking pictures for the hotel. I made friends with them. Paid the dude at the lab to print my stuff, and he would print my stuff before he print their stuff. Right. And I take my stuff to a different hotel so it wouldn't interfere with their stuff. Right. So I come back, so I catch the player coming out. Player, I got the pictures. I got them in a frame. I got posters. I put them by their cars. Oh man, how much owe you? I mean, you owe me a stack, and they would pay me good money, and that would be my hustle. I make enough money on the pictures outside, then I would gamble on the fights. Sneak inside, sneak into the fight. You know, I pay an usher off or somebody at the door. Yo, man, I know you need this, bro. I'm going on down the ringside. Do your thing, bro. Right. So we get to the fight. You know, the ringside is going on. Next thing you know, Tyson is fighting. So he's in fighting. He's about to do his thing, and they getting thing, and I'm at ringside. But I don't have no credentials. But I'm flashing. The photographer sees I done got the shot. He gives me a little elbow. I give him one too. He falls in the thing and I move on out the way. By that time, Tyson's coming out, right? I catch him with the belt. So of course, I'm the first person who ever got Tyson with the belt. Now, of course, this particular picture, I didn't sell to Sports Illustrated. I kept it for myself and put my own little black magazines and stuff like that. So when I see Tyson one day, now this particular picture did go in Sports Illustrated. This was the year-end picture.
Is that the ear bite?
This is the ear bite times. This is the ear bite times. This is him in the pool. So it's at the house. This is him and Harry Winston's in Paris. This is Michael Jackson. So. Yeah. You know, once I get in, I get in.
So would you say is this the point in your career where things start flourishing, like people start asking for you?
Well, like I said, people really wasn't asking for me. I was just showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just be at the right places at the right time. Okay. And then, like, after I got the picture of the belt, and Don King's photographer did not get the picture of the belt, that made a problem. So I had met Mike Tyson's manager, John Horn. So John Horn got married. So he said, man, you're gonna shoot my wedding. And guess who was his best man? Don King. So that was my first introduction to Don King. He was like, oh, okay, baby, so you're the one who keeps sneaking in the fights and getting all the good shit. He said, we gotta do something about that, baby. He said, the pictures of the wedding come out good, you start Monday. This was Friday. Not this Monday, but the following Monday. So he said, see, baby, you're gonna need you some gear because we're gonna be in New York. It's gonna be a little cold, so you need to get you a jacket and some clothes. I'm gonna give you a week to get your shit together and be on the plane. I'm gonna have them call you, be on the plane, you're coming to New York. You know, so I'm like, all right, cool. But the California jackets is weather for California. The jackets are made for California.
Right.
It's a leather jacket, but it's not the leather jacket with the fur cow lining in there.
Right.
So when you get your California jacket and you get off that plane in New York, where you see snow on the ground, everybody got on Timbos, and you got on hardcover shoes with a leather jacket and a suit, and it's freezing outside. Oh.
So the jacket feel like a windbreaker now.
Man, so I got indoctrinated real quick. So I meet Carl. I already had Carl Kanai hook up because when Carl Kanai moved from New York, he came to LA. He used to sleep in my studio, him and AZ. I had him sleeping on my couches because I had a big, I had probably about, I had some of the coldest studios in LA. Like I had one studio, it was in a building called Rare Hair, had about 3,000 square feet. I had 8 hairdressers, I had nail techs, I had a lingerie lady, I had a graphic artist dude. Took the lady from church who made your dinners on Sunday, got her in my back doing cooking. I got the whole neighborhood on lunch and breakfast.
So pretty much skills that you acquired early on, like when you said you had all your friends' parents have been working for you.
I had the parents' children. The parents had, like, your dad got the lawnmower, so your son is going to be using the lawnmower, but we're going to cut everybody in the block grass.
So you had the vision to put it together.
I know that working together works.
Definitely, sure.
And if I can get you to believe what I'm saying, and either going to work for somebody, either going to do your dream, or you're going to fulfill somebody else's.
Exactly, yeah, right.
The earlier you figure that out, and I tell my son, the worker is the one who knows how. The boss is the one who knows why. As soon as you figure that out, you understand, are you going to be the worker or are you going to be the boss?
You're going to be either one, so need to make that decision.
And then when you're going to work for somebody else, you have to understand. Now, the problem with me is when I work for somebody else, my boss is always scared that I'm going to take their job. And I try to explain to them from day one. In this particular case, I don't want to be the boss. I just want to be the worker. I just want to keep doing the how. I want to know how y'all getting all this money from this corporation. I work for Xfinity, selling internet. I want to know how you guys are beating me for my money.
Right.
And then I apply that. Now I'm a customer, so I tell them how I can get my money back. You have to complain all the time so you can get your money back.
Right.
You have to say the services are not working. Why am I paying for it?
Right.
You have to explain to them, and you have to call on a regular basis so it has proof that you've been.
Right.
Why would I keep calling if it's working?
Exactly.
You have to understand the how.
Right.
Why is it not working? I know how it works, but why is it not working?
Right.
So I need to get to the boss, because you only know how, but the boss is going to know why I'm going to get my adjustment.
Exactly.
So I keep applying the principles. Speaking of principles, then you get to Dion, who is now the principal. He took it from the field, taking his kids to the game, and then once he saw that the coaches wasn't teaching his kids properly, I can do this better myself. So I do take my kid from Pop Warner, high school, college, and I'm gonna walk them into the pros. And once they get into the pros, do I feel like coaching anymore? Now I'll go get on TV and be a broadcaster.
Right.
after I take all these programs, I'm already on the motivational speaker set.
Right.
I'll write me a couple books, and my children already, I got them to the point where they buying me mansions.
Right.
I think I've done a great job. So then when we talk about the beginning of this hip hop stuff, you know, because I got to go back with you, we talk about Melly Mel.
Okay.
That's the person that we got to go back,
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
It's no fun unless we all get some, you know. And then we're talking about, well, see, this is March, so March is Women's Month. Well, since we talking about women, let's talk about the pioneers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about Mr. Missy,
What was that picture taken?
this was taken backstage at Soul Train Awards. Remember I was telling you about them Soul Train thing? Backstage, I made my connection at Soul Train. I stayed in the game, and I worked that out where they had the photographer who was being paid to do one thing and the photographer who paid to do another thing. I got my move where I got to Don Cornelia's right-hand man, which was Reggie. Reggie just made sure I was able to stay in the back and get all the pictures that nobody else was gonna get. So when we look at the Soul Train pictures that you see in Getty and all the websites, yeah, you'll see the outfit, but you won't see the people that I have. You'll see the person in this outfit backstage, but you won't see the picture of Little Kim and Mary backstage.
Right.
So that's why everyone else there's a red carpet. So there's a million photographers on the red carpet. What are they doing? Fighting for what? The same picture.
Right.
And everybody has the same picture. And what are they fighting for? That 30%.
Right.
So everybody's fighting for the same 30%.
Meanwhile,
I'm not fighting.
Right.
I'm in the back.
70%.
So I'm in the back while you're back up there. I'm in the back with the Little Kims.
And these are more intimate pictures.
And these are the ones that they've never
personalized.
seen before.
Right.
Like,
Definitely.
if Little Kim, see now when I see Little Kim now, you talk about podcasts. So now when I say, hey Little Kim, I need you to come on my podcast because I want to show you pictures that you've never seen before.
Definitely sparking interest doing that.
And then we talked about, as I told you, that Eazy-E's and they did those movies and stuff. They wanted this picture from the pool party,
That's what's up.
but they only wanted to give me little money. I'm gonna give you $300, $400, $500. No, I need a couple stacks.
Right.
And then, so I saw Biggie's son, and I was like, yo, I'm probably the only photographer who smoked with your dad and your mom.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Right.
So you see Faith Evans and
Hold up, okay.
that's Faith Evans and your boy from I Got Five on
Yuck
It,
Mouth.
the Loonies.
Yes. Yuck Mouth.
You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about, and then we talk about Big, so yeah, these have never been, that's the only reason I say I don't want you to scan because these have never been seen before. This is part of history. When I showed this to his son, he was like, yo, I ain't never seen that before. And I said, what about this one? He said, I've never seen that before. I said, so we should get together and collaborate.
Right.
Deal. Clothing line, hoodies, merch. And when LL wrote his book, he didn't have this picture in his book. So he went out and did the book with Ernie Pacheco, and they called that the Bible. Well, we'll have to call mine the encyclopedia then. Because if his is the Bible, and if I go in and do a thing on what
16-year-old
right next to him, I have the picture where his dad is in it. Like on the negative next to this, his dad is in the picture. He don't even have a picture with his own dad.
Wow.
What year would you say that picture was?
This had to be around 80, 82, because he came in, 86 is when he got his deal, right? 86 is when he got his deal? Google it. That's what you're here for.
I know he was the first.
I'm just messing with y'all like you got behind the people. This is a big corporation right here. We drink champs in the making. We're big.
Yeah,
You know why we big? Because I'm gonna make y'all big.
Hey,
Because you gotta have something that nobody else has. You can just say that you had me before everybody else.
Yes, sir.
They can't breathe because you're gonna put it on their throats.
You got it right.
Yeah, because I'm the oracle. Because when we talk about if we don't talk about LL, and then who was L having beef with? The original beef.
Kumo D.
The original beef.
Man, all these guys we watched growing up, man.
But I mean, I could go on forever. But are y'all? Okay, we need a couple more minutes. And then we go back. So, what did you say? Oh, 84.
84,
Oh, you're telling me the date. Okay, so that picture back here was 84.
First solo artist on Def Jam.
Yeah, so this is during the 84 day, because this was at a club in LA called the Speakeasy. So this is 84. I got a high school, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, so I was 21. Yeah. Okay, so 84, I was 21. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So, yeah, but even though when I was a kid, I had an ID when I was 12 that said I was 16. Okay. So when I got my license, because I moved out the house when I was 16, so the license said I was 20. Yeah. So I was in the club at 18, 21, but you know what I'm saying? So I was doing stuff real smooth, you know what I mean? So
already in the mix already.
I already had all that. But they took that license when I got to Vegas, because actually they didn't take that license. I had a fake ID. I think that's the reason why I moved out early. My mom took me to Vegas for my 16th birthday. Boy, I look grown. Had my fake ID. I'm at the crap table. Daddy, dude. Oh, I was giving it to him. I had already won twice. I didn't stack chips in my pocket and stuff. Walked away, came back again. Now I'm stinging them. I go get the big pocket, go do like that. Say, sir. Come with me. They take all my winnings. I don't get the winnings. I go back in the back. Mom's finds out. I got to listen to this the whole drive home. But my favorite uncle was a probation officer, so he came and got me out. So we were like, you know how that long walk that you're walking back before you get to your mom, and he was like, so how much do you think you'd have won? I was like, man, I had him for about 3,800. And he said, boy, if you wouldn't have had that old sorry fake ID. So me and him, he's clowning me, but he was cool about it though. He's like, you know, you can't do stuff like that. I'm gonna get you out of this, but you're gonna have to listen to your mom the whole drive home, the whole 4 hour. Really, it's like 3.5 hour drive.
Gave it to you.
It was 4 hours going home. Vegas, LA, we drove. Seemed like the drive was even longer. So, yeah, once I hit Vegas and that way home, I was grown. Then I got that taste of how I was supposed to be living, the money I'm supposed to be having, and then I knew it just wasn't going to be her way. She's a Capricorn, I'm a Cancer, so. It's her way or the highway, and I took the highway and never looked back, never moved back.
You never regret it.
I don't regret nothing I've done in life. You know, it was either a lesson or a blessing for me. I just try to teach my son, being it's either a lesson or a blessing, just make sure that the lesson doesn't put you in a situation that you can't get yourself out of. Right. If the lesson is where you got your ass whooped, but you're alive. Right. If the lesson is you got a whooping, but you didn't go to jail. Right. You know what I mean?
So as far as learning lessons, as you were coming up, are there any situations where you learn lessons like maybe in a hard way or a way where it's like, I know not to do that or deal with those type of people, anymore?
Go inside the photography.
I only had one bad experience in life. The first wedding I ever did, the very first wedding I ever did in my entire life, I had an assistant who really wasn't an assistant. Mm-hmm. He was just somebody I knew who I just brought with me because I just needed him to help me pick up stuff. Right. Well, apparently I handed him the camera and he dropped it and did not tell me. I had just taken 5 pictures of the bride, and he dropped the camera, did not tell me. If he would have told me, I would have saw that the left side of the camera thing, it was a little thing on the lens because I was utilizing a Rolex. Well, I'm sorry, I was utilizing a Hasselblad. So it's a medium format camera. So on this side of the camera, it was a little thing where if it dropped off, it was a latch. And if it dropped off, it's gonna make this side of the picture blurry because it's off. But if you put it back on, then now everything is focused because it's a medium format camera. So all the groom's pictures, like everybody on the right side was in focus, but everybody on the left side was out of focus. So I took 5 pictures of the bride without anybody. They were beautiful. But since he dropped it, all the groom's pictures was clear. Now, it was only another 5 pictures where she was on that side, where she came out clear. But basically, the whole wedding, half of the picture was clear and half of the picture was blurry.
Have you done any so-called celebrity weddings?
Yeah, I did Barry Gordy's daughter's wedding.
You did mention that,
Yeah, that was. She married a Harlem Globetrotter, and it reminded me when I was a kid because my mom was very boisterous. Like she just had a way of telling. That's where I got the no excuses but results because of the fact I really got that from Don King, but my mom was really the person where she didn't believe in no. It was just a part of the negotiation. And I got that part from her. So we were at the Globetrotters, and she was trying to get me into the locker room. I call that backstage. And the security guard was like, "You don't have no credentials. Why would I let you in?" And she called him everything but a child of God. And eventually, he got tired of her, and he just let her in with me.
Persistent.
And we got in, and I met Meadowlark and Curly and all of them, and I got a whole basketball with all the players' signature, and then I went home with a basketball.
You still got it?
No. And the next day, guess who I played basketball with in my backyard at my house? Curly.
Like the most famous Globetrotter.
I don't know how she pulled that off, but I don't know too many kids who had Curly playing basketball with him in the backyard of his house. But
I know he had to piss you off all those tricks and moves and all that stuff.
No, I wasn't even good like that. Okay. It's just the fact that when he didn't miss in my backyard, he never missed.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Never missed. He did. Like I thought this, like when you do it in the court, that shit was, some kind of way they had some kind of trick ball. He came to I handed the ball, floop, floop, floop. He never missed in my backyard. He never missed. I played him again. Of course, I didn't win, but I had 3 little spots on the court where if I get to that spot.
Sweet spot.
You don't let me get to that spot. Right. Just like when I had a studio in Inglewood, I had the spot right next to the wall, and I'm gonna fall into that wall because when I was in high school, I had the little corner spot, and I would shoot the corner and fall into the cheerleader. That was my move. Because I only got in, I wasn't like I was a star. I wasn't like no star. I'm the bench warmer. Only time I got in the game is when my mama came to the game. When I got into the game, I might start. Your mama's here? Oh, boy, go on in. Go on. She came to the game. I had my best games of my life, which was only 2 games. Best games of my life.
There you go.
From that point, I was a legend in my mind, but hey.
All right, well, that's where it started at. I mean, like you said earlier, you gotta have the confidence, you gotta have the belief in yourself for anything. You know what I mean?
I told my son, I said, son, really, I really wasn't trying to be a ball player. The only reason I was on the team is because I knew that girls like ball players. But I'm the same height now as I was in high school.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I weighed more in high school than I weigh now.
Gotcha.
So when I went to my 40th reunion for high school, I had my little suit on, but I opened up the suit. I had my varsity jersey so they could see it. And that probably pissed them off because I can still fit it.
Right.
Crazy. But then, like I won 4, like in high school, I got best dress and class clown. Thought I was a funny motherfucker. And then at my reunion, I got best dress again. And then I also got the youngest child. Mm-hmm. And then my child was younger than everybody's grandchild, so I got the youngest grandchild too, because I didn't have my first child till I was 49, so wow. I was killing them. Like they didn't have a chance.
I was a total opposite. 16 when my first child was born.
16 is when I moved out.
Yeah. Hey Jay, I kind of wanted to ask you a few things here.
Go ahead. I'd like to answer.
Out of all the celebrities that you actually took photographs of, what would you say was maybe like one of your best celebrities or one of the best personnel to take photos for with throughout your whole career? Like, who do you enjoy taking photos of?
Well, I enjoy. I mean, let's see. That's a great question. New Edition.
If you had 5 top entertainers that throughout your years being a photographer, what would be like the 5 top either groups or musicians or athletes or singers, whatever?
Well, this Wu-Tang, they ain't nothing to fuck with, you know what I'm saying? Sure. So because I do things that like I smoke, so I think that like when I said earlier that I'm probably the only photographer who smoked with, Biggie and Faith as well. I mean, do you see the blunt that he's smoking? Who you think blunt that was? So in order to get the whole group there, like, so in order, and you see how smooth they was? I walked in, I said, I want to take a picture. They said, yo, cameraman, what is that you got? I said, it's yours. They said, you're kidding me. I said, no, go ahead. So when he hit it, he was like, yo, cameraman got that fire. I'm flashing. He's saying, every time he says, yo, you want another one? Shoot, oh man, that's right there. Makes you start the party.
So when you say Wu-Tang would be your number 1?
I mean, I'm from the West Coast, but I mean when we talk about rap groups, the first group I'm gonna think of is NWA. So I'm
one of my favorite groups.
but when we think about and then I'm gonna also come right behind NWA and go with Run DMC.
Okay, that's my personal.
You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be number 2. I'm gonna go to Wu-Tang as number 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because now don't get me wrong, Wu-Tang, they have their own, but again, you have to base your top based upon how you grew up listening to it. If I grew up in New York, I would have started off with Wu-Tang because I probably would have been in I lived in Manhattan, but I hung out with Tyson. He was basically, what was the line that I learned when I was in New York? Uptown niggas make the money. Oh no, what they say? Brooklyn niggas make the money. Was it?
Tyson Brownsville.
Yeah, right? Brooklyn niggas make the money. Brownville niggas take the money. Yeah, because he was from Brownsville, right? So, yeah. And then everybody else that I knew was from Harlem and stuff like that. But I lived on 59th and I worked on 59th and 6th Avenue. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I worked at. And then I lived right next to, the St. Moritz. So I'm looking at, Central Park. So I was living on the 62nd floor. So my view is the park, my park on this view. Then I got the bridge on the other view. So I'm, it's living New York. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I tell them, this catch cab, I got you. They say, yeah, I'm gotta take the what do you call that? The underground.
Subway?
Yeah, I don't want to get on the subway this way. No. I'm gonna send you a car. Just bring the receipt up. Pay the man and bring the receipt up. I'm gonna give you back your money. Just bring me the receipt. I take the receipt and write that off on my. I had Don King. I had expense report.
Right.
You part of my expenses. Boo boo. Oh man, I used to go in clubs and buy the bar and write that off.
Oh, yeah, right.
Those are expensive.
Smart,
And then I put on the thing, one of the King's men. I would go into restaurants. Oh, that's how I got known in Broward. I would go into a place like Betty's Restaurant. I rode through Sis Trunk of Broward. I have Don King's Bentley, that Azura blue with top down. I go to the car wash, throw the keys to the owner, and say, yo, my man, where's the good food? He said, across the street, that's Betty's, that's soul food. Okay. I tell one of the dudes, yo, go get something to smoke. And then get something for everybody else to smoke. Don't be selfish. I give him $50 for me, and then give him $50, get you smoke everybody out. And then we go to the restaurant, and I say, oh, that's a nice restaurant. I say, everybody bring your check up to me. I'm pay for the whole restaurant coming to the town. And then I tell Betty, I want to have everything on your menu twice. And then put a little tip on there so everybody can get paid. Then I told the girl, Reese, the little green-eyed girl at the restaurant, I said, I'm going to send a car back for you and your friend. And you probably got a kid, so I'm going to send babysitter money so your mama take care of the kids so you don't have no problem. I was overwhelming people, Now, to let you know how cold the story is, like the lady who worked at the restaurant, her son became a famous ball player and then became the coach of the high school. So we at a strip club and he got Jeezy and all the rappers there, and he tells a story about me. His mama called me and said, yo, my baby needs some shoes. I run down there and send her, give her 100. She go get him some shoes. He shoots 49 to 50 points for, what's the school down there in Ely High School? Yeah, he was, yes, in Pompano. He hit 40 points. So when you're about giving, because me, I felt like if I plant seeds, then later on I come sit under a tree. And that's how you become the OG status, because you planted so many seeds in the community. You show people how you're supposed to do it. You say, hey, if you do it this way, it's supposed to go like this. Now, this generation is kind of an entitled generation. See, I came from the school of my granddaddy walked 20 miles, so my father only had to walk 10 miles. So I only had to walk 5 miles.
Right.
So my son don't have to walk.
Right.
Which is probably means that his son gonna have to walk 20 miles again.
Right.
And his son gonna have to walk 10 miles. So I'm trying to figure out how I can skip 2 generations to make sure it could go smooth.
Right.
So the only way I could think of that could be is these memories.
Right.
Because what I have is what they don't have. The white culture, the Gettys, they have been raping our culture, and because of the fact that you never get what you deserve in life, you only get what you negotiate.
Hey Jay, I want to ask you, because you speak about the Gettys a lot. For people that don't know what a Getty is.
It's one of the largest wire services in the world. They have commercials out there said that they've been doing it for generations, and they'll show pictures that they wish looked like this. See, what Getty's problem was, white America thought that rock and roll was going to be the only thing that was going to be worth chronicalizing. So that's why we see all the Marilyn Monroes, the Frank Sinatra, the John Waynes. But I can do the Tupacs. I can do the Biggies. They can't.
Right.
So because they can't, That's why they gave us one day. 50 years of hip hop.
Right.
But see, my mind is already telling my son, by the time it gets to 100 years of hip hop, you'll be 62, so your grandson will be able to carry the legacy of me. So because most people in your life, you only know 50 years of your life. You know your grandfather. You know your great-grandfather? You know anything about your great-grandfather? Most people don't know anything about their great-grandfather. So that lets you know that you only have about 50 years of existence that's only you know about.
Right.
So if you don't have 100 years of pre-planned, making sure that you still stay in motherfuckers' minds, we're fucked. So that's why this generation is only seeing the only certain amount of pictures.
Right.
Getty will come in and give me 10 million, and then they'll take that 10 million and turn it out to their children for billions. And I've been saying, nah. I keep watching the black. I already know the Tupac picture that I keep talking about that I haven't found. That Tupac, well, if you just go into Google again, that's another Google search. But because I told you.
Talking about with the shirt off.
Right. But besides that picture, because when we talk about that picture, if you go to the CD, which is my picture, you'll see my photo credit. The video, which is my video, you'll see the photo credit. The Google story that I should have wrote, but I didn't. But anyway, like everyone has wrote their story about that night at the House of Blues, except me. And it was my birthday.
What is your story? Yeah, can you elaborate a little bit?
Oh man, that's another podcast. Because not only, if I'm put it like this, I sold the picture for like a small amount of money. That money, apparently the person I sold it to another person, say for 100,000. He told me 10,000, but the street says 100,000. But then it was sold to Viacom for 2.5 million. Now you can Google that information because it will tell you that how much they paid for that video.
Now the video you're speaking of, this is the video.
The last performance of Tupac. And when you go to that video, you will see me on stage. Smooth. Matter of fact, let's see, what book is that? I brought that picture. Because I have a lot of great pictures too, you know. But that's the picture right there.
Yeah. You want to talk, right?
Yeah.
That's you right there in the middle, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So that's how I look.
Show 'em this way.
That's how I look when I was back in those days. So, and then I also noticed on my picture, because now that the pictures come out, I'm gonna look for that picture though, but I'll send it to you. Anyway, should have put that on the T.
Now it's interesting because, like, how often would you run Tupac before he passed away?
Oh, you know, I'm smoking, so the person who smokes the best is the person who normally has everybody's trying to holler at him. So I have like, oh, here's the picture. Now see this picture, the amazing part about this picture is my picture shows who is the shooter. Like, you know, they have pictures of Nipsey where the person sitting right behind Nipsey was the shooter. Well, the original picture that I have shows the guy in the background who has just been proven to be the shooter. They have just pressed charges against.
That's not KVD. That's Pac's bodyguard.
They're saying the bodyguard is the actual shooter. If you go onto the thing, that's what they're saying. They're saying that the bodyguard is the one who actually pulled the trigger.
Oh, Pac's bodyguard? Because he was Pac's bodyguard. And he's also a police officer too.
I'm just going, maybe I'm incorrect. Because you're saying Kiki is the one who was the driver. The person in the back seat supposedly is supposed to be him. But the picture that you see on the every picture of Tupac, they cropped him out of.
Got it.
So you don't see the person behind the picture, you just see this. If you look at the cover, Google it. You can't make this up. The picture that's on the cover of the CD,
Okay.
they covered this person out. Now, if you go to Apple Music right now to make it easy for you, go Apple Music and look at the cover. That cover of Apple Music will show this same picture, but you will not see him in it. It's a black background. So I'm just trying to show you the origin, because we're talking about never seen before photos.
Right.
And that's why we're talking about a generation that they won't be able to see this until, as long as I'm alive, then we continue to know about history that's never told. That's what this difference between a photographer and a historian is.
Right.
So the other people were photographers. I was the historian. Because I not only anticipated what happened, I made it happen.
And Jay, let me ask you, how many years of a professional photography did you have under your belt?
79, we just talked about that.
That's 44 years.
Yeah, 79. Yeah, 79 is.
I was born in 1979, so I know.
And here's a cold story too. This is funny. I used to go. No, I worked in a shoe store called, in the Fox Hill Mall in California. It was a shoe store called Wild Pair. So a DJ came in with a camera, and he was like, "Yo, I got this camera for you, Lash. I know you need it. And my girl need them snakeskin boots over there." So I did my assistant manager discount and got him the boots. He gave me the camera. That same week, another photographer named Julian came in, and he gave me a different camera. And that camera was a little bit better. He said, "Yo, I know my man gave you a camera, but this is the camera you really need." So the camera that my man gave me, I put that in a little glass box. It was a Vivitar. I think I still have that in my storage next to that TV of my dad's. And then the first camera I got was a Nikon. I got that camera and I stayed with Nikon from that point on. Now, the reason I brought up this story is because of the fact that once I got that Nikon, I used to go to Venice Beach. I would go to Pier it was in the 50s, so I'm gonna say like 56. I sit by that pier, smoke a joint, and I would take pictures of the waves hitting the rocks. Now, after I finished taking the picture of the waves hitting the rocks, I go down to the lab and print it out, make a poster. I make about 12 of those each day and put them on the boardwalk. And I was the first one to set up a booth on the boardwalk, selling pictures to the tourists. If you go to that same boardwalk now, you probably got to pay rent for booths on it, because everybody's out there doing their hustle.
Right.
But you set that trend for them.
I set the trend for that, though. Now, here's a cold part. Now, one day I'm sitting on the beach, because, I was just selling pictures of the waves and the rocks, and that was it, and the sun and all that kind of. A girl walks up to me. She got a sweatsuit like I got on, got the hoodie on, glasses like I got on. She says, "Yo, I got a roll of film." She hands me the roll. I put the roll in the film. I start flashing her. She tells me, no. You got to do this and this, because the way the sun is hitting, if you shoot from this angle, you're not going to get the glare anymore. Because I'm trial and error. We ain't got digital. You got to print it.
Right.
And hope you got it right. It's negatives. I'm gonna break you down to the film category. First, it was film and negatives. Then it was floppy disks. Then it was CDs. Then it's the SD card. Then it's digital. It's the learning experience. Then you have the external hard drives, the computers, and all that. It's a cloud that always wants to hit you up for extra $9.99. Why you want to hit me up on twice a month on the $9.99? You need to get the 2 TBs, the terabytes. So from that point on, come to find out, the whole time I'm going down every day to the lab to get the prints, she's the girl at the lab. with the baggy sweat, with the baggy, like you can see the nurses, they got the baggy, and she got the hair pinned up and the glasses on. This is Lois Lane. I'm Superman. Booyah. So I'm taking pictures of her. She says, now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna send my friends. They're gonna bring you 25, a roll of film, and 2 blunts. It was joints. I was still on joints at that time. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, now once the weekend comes, it's quite a few of her friends. So what do? I call some of my friends. Next thing you know, my boys is barbecuing, got the grill out, the drinks. My boy on the radio, Magic Mike, he's saying J Lash with the flashes on 56 at the Venice Beach. Go on down and get your flash on. It's the California Rocker. It's the Sunday day beach party. Now we got the whole beach lit. I'm doing photo shoots. They got the party. My boy ain't just giving away food. Venice Beach. Now my boy ain't just giving away food. He making a little money. We doing the hot dogs and the hamburgers and everybody happy. It's the...
You know, it's crazy, Jay. I realize you got a gift, and it goes beyond photography. You have a gift of a sense of building and bringing communities together, having communities to work together. You know what I mean? That's a gift. That's a strong gift. And I realize that now. Would you say because you have that gift, which you do have that gift, was that also very effective in the world of photography as far as like how you're able to get into certain places undetected?
I think
certain shots with certain people.
I say a lot of times I don't have a great relationship with my mother, but because of the fact how hard she was on me, it made me be a better person. I love her to death. I just know that our communication is not there because there's certain things that she's holding on to that I don't know about. So that makes our relationship be strained. However, the gifts that she gave me was the fact that every time I would ask her a question, she wouldn't give me an answer. She'd tell me a story. So I'm able to tell a great story. And then because of the fact that sometimes she wouldn't be at home, I would be out in the streets at night. So I never had fear of the dark. I embraced the dark. The dark is my friend. When you turn off the lights, I'm comfortable, where the average person is scared. I had to go in the room and she said, turn the lights out. Can't be burning these lights. You know how much that electricity bill is?
Right. Yeah.
So I had to embrace, and I was the only child, so I had to embrace the dark. So when I'm at nighttime, so when I tell my friends, look, I'm my 11th passport, and Don King used to drop me off in countries by myself, and I just recently went on a trip by myself, only because my friends didn't come. You know, I got the money for the rooms from them. So instead of getting a hotel room, I took their money and got a 5-bedroom Airbnb. 3 pools, view of the ocean, the maid, and the whole, and the butler, the maid and the dude who do the cooking. So they don't come. So now I got all this room, all this food, and nobody to share it with. 3 pools. I'm doing videos. The butler doing my videos. I'm going through the water. The maid is taking me. I'm in the pool. I'm doing I got the lobster and the food. At night, I'm walking up and down. I meet the bus driver. The bus driver says, well, you can hang out with me. The maid is like, how do you feel comfortable with everybody? I just said, God, my grandfather was a minister. He said a lot of people can do a lot of things and get away with it. You'll get caught. Looking at my dad. But again, gotta break the curse. The minister's son was the worst one. That's what they say. Grandson is the one who's watching. So imagine there's a little community. They're called the PKs. Preacher's kids. So now they have all these movies that are out that they're talking about how the church is and all these people in the church. Imagine if you've seen all this on television now, but you lived that. You saw how really the church is really about. You saw what the children, what they really be doing behind when it's not the prayer and the communion.
Let me ask you one quick question. What advice would you give to the new generation of coming up of photographers out there?
Well, think about this when you look behind this and you see the difference between, well, let me just make it real easy. A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Right.
So when you look at that picture, unless you have the 1,000 words to put with that picture, it's really just another picture.
I like that.
So the difference, the way that I separate myself from the other people in the world and photographers, they take pictures. I bring back your memories.
Nice.
So when I show you a picture, you feel the picture. Like when you look at pictures, you feel the picture. These are great things in the background to give you the understanding of the difference between a picture and a photograph. A picture is something you see. The photograph is something you feel.
Right.
You feel it. When you look at it, you
feel
it. And everything about that picture is right. You look at this picture, and whether this picture is in 2024 or 1824, it's the same picture.
Right. Sure.
That's the difference. And that's what I would explain to a photographer. It's a hustler photographer.
Right.
It's an artist photographer. It's a newspaper photographer. And it's a photographer who, it's just like, for example, there's 3 people you meet. The person who made it happen, the person who saw what happened, and the person who told you what happened.
Right.
Which one are you?
For my opinion, I think what makes your career great and the things that you've accomplished is that you're able to, like, people person, you're able to bring your talent and the art all together, and your hustle. Combining those things, those 4 things, I see that like that's powerful. If you can combine those things and be on point with each one. And then we have J Lash, this is, people go crazy for some of these photos that you have, you know what I mean? And the stories behind.
And that's the whole thing. Now it's just a matter of, like when I come here, like, he's already told me, he said, I want you to do an exhibit here. And I was like, this is beautiful. And I've done, like, now I've been doing quite a few exhibits. Like I did the 305 exhibit, the Miramar exhibit. I did a digital exhibit in New York. And just the fact that I can be in one, people have sent me things where now you can be on your phone. I could do an exhibit. You can go on your phone. You can walk through here like you're in the exhibit is in New York. You're in Miami, you're in LA, but you're in the mall in South Beach, and you click the link and you're walking through the mall, but you're seeing my exhibit in New York.
Right.
And you're walking through the mall, and you're able to see everything, and you're able to see the people in there, and it's
like augmented reality type.
So it's different now.
Virtual reality, yeah.
So, it's kind of like the Flintstones and the Jetsons all in one.
All in one, right.
Because I saw a picture of Snoopy where it was a picture of Snoop Dogg laying on his back with the smoke blowing in the air. A different Snoopy.
Right.
So from that picture, I thought about so many pictures that I have that I can recreate to a different move.
Right.
So the merchandise, but see, the thing they have is this thing called, the person's image and likeness, and you have to, there's different ways you have to go and you have to get certain situations and all that kind of thing, and then the artwork. But the bottom line is, I just have something that the world needs to see, because I understand that the culture vultures, they don't have anything else that they can take. The Getty is dropping their pictures to where you can get a picture now for $5. Well, if you can buy a picture on Getty for $5, I keep mentioning Getty because I feel like I'm the Black Getty. And I don't like to compare myself something, but you always have someone that you, when I looked at 50 Cent, he says, I look at some money because I want to take that. So in order for me, like, that building is not mine, but it could be mine if I wanted it. It'd just be a matter of how can I get it. So I look at Getty as that Getty is, they spent so much money in putting for white culture, they didn't get any Black culture. So if I had, for example, like your podcast, we do a podcast and we get the actual people to come and talk about the pictures. It's a crazy thing.
Right. Hey, this is just, before we close this out, I love what you just said. That was a great way of bringing everything into a good conclusion. Let me ask you, what is the next thing for J Lash now, moving on forward?
Well, let's see, there's merchandise, there's books, there's more podcasts. I'm not really a reality show person because I don't think that's enough money for me to be having somebody walk around with me like that. Like, I'm too private to have, and I'm not vain enough. You know, to be in a reality, you have to be kind of a vain person.
Right. Open your world up to
Yeah, and I came from the game is to be told, to be sold and not told. So I guess that's the reason why I have so much stuff that hasn't been seen, because I'm just, and that's the reason why I don't be like, because of the fact that what you don't see has a lot of value. So, like, for example, the artists who hate to have their pictures taken. So because they hate to have their pictures taken, their pictures are more valuable because it's not a lot of pictures of them. So that makes the Michael Jacksons and the Princes rare. So if you have both of them,
that's a rare thing. Yeah.
so I have, so the question for me is, well, for example, well, who were the people that you wanted? You asked me earlier, well, who was your top 5 pictures that you felt like you took? I would say Michael Jackson, Prince. No, that wasn't in my top 5. That was I just showed you that picture because I liked them. But my number 1 picture for me was Prince, because, you know, I have three pictures of Prince, and each time I got the picture, I had a long run because I was being chased by security. So that's why, you know, they say J Lash with the flash, but it was really J Lash with the dash. Because they was chasing me. Like Paradise 24, the man was, and those same bodyguards now work for Jay-Z. So when I see them, they just look at me and start laughing, like, we're not going through that no more. And then I just be like, no, we good, baby, we good. But they know that they couldn't catch me. Like the Trick Daddy said, you gotta catch me, boy. Oh, no. Oh boy, I was on some sniper stuff. Like, you know, I'd catch them and I'd be gone. Man, but the thing I would like to say again, it was Prince, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Tyson, and Magic Johnson. Those would be my top 5, because people want to put me in just the hip hop category, but I'm not just hip hop. I have, you know, so for me, like I said, and it's a lot of M's, because you think of Michael Jackson, you think of Michael Tyson, you think of Michael Jordan. Well, yeah, I got them, and then we have to think of, you know, if you don't got Biggie and Pac in there, then
you gotta throw them in.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, for me, I had a great time listening to the stories, listening to your journey. You know, we feel honored you coming through and sharing this info. Like you said earlier, that you don't really do this that often.
I mean,
but he did it on the Black Label Exchange.
You know what I'm saying? I just like I said, I like the fact that I like this place. I'm here with Tito and Kadan in the Black Label Exchange podcast, and you could be flashed by J Lash, and thank you for having me. I see once the smoke kick in, the next thing.